Hello. Well, today is a beautiful day out here. It's Friday, and while everybody is panicking, probably in the YouTubeverse and the cryptoverse, and making videos with all sorts of um, clickbaity pictures, I might do too. So you know what, guilty or guilty as charged. But if you're seeing this video, I want to talk to you about what's really happening in the crypto space. Okay. So, like I've always said, that when you realize what's really going on, everything will start to make a lot of sense. So we had the largest liquidation in crypto since the COVID crash, since the FTX crash, and everything, and yet Bitcoin was still above 100K easily. Now, what does that tell you? That tells you that big money is holding. Big money is also buying, and big money is liquidating. Now, let me tell you where that third part comes in. What you have to realize is there are different types of people in crypto. One are short-term traders. Then there are day traders. Okay, that's two. Then there are futures traders, and then there are spot traders, and then there are investors and holders. So these are all the categories. There are more than three actually. Now, most people this time around are playing the game in a really wrong manner. You see, every time people made a lot of money in crypto, we're not talking about turning $1,000 into $10,000, which in a traditional market is fantastic. We're talking about turning $1,000 to $300,000, $500,000, $100,000, $80,000, so on and so forth. Historically, all of those markets had holders in those projects, had investors. We had ICOs, initial coin offerings. We had IDOs, initial DEX offerings. We had the DeFi summer. We had all these narratives. And then BlackRock comes in and, they start buying up a ton of Bitcoin. The Trump family comes in, they start, promoting DeFi again and so on and so forth. However, the markets have been the craziest they've ever been in history. Now, why is that? In the last bull run, these same people, these same institutions that told you to stay away from crypto and that it's a scam, and Bitcoin is used for money laundering and all of those things, these same people caused the FTX liquidation, caused the Luna crash, caused the COVID crash. Remember, nothing happens without the blessings of BlackRock. Okay? Once you understand that, you'll understand everything else that I'm about to tell you. Now, they say that Trump imposed the China tariff, and it was because of that the liquidations, that massive liquidation started to occur. However, wallets started to sell early before even that news got out. So there was definitely some um, insider trading going on. And people are blaming Binance and CZ for that, although there is no proof of it. But the claims are that CZ was involved in that too. So basically, what does that tell you? Billionaires and trillionaires are trying to manipulate this market and trying to scare you out of your projects and coins and whatever. People are saying change your strategies. You know, everybody is trying to revenge trade after being liquidated, which is a completely wrong ideology. And another big problem is that the hodler mentality is decreasing more and more. People are selling way too early. People are not being patient, and that's because of the PTSD of the last cycle. And so you have to understand that when you do things like this and the markets behave like this, then that is exactly what happens. And then, so they have been planning this for a while. Okay? And One thing that I'm about to tell you is that if you look beyond the manipulation, you'll understand everything. The US, the United States of America, wants to remove its $35 trillion debt, and they plan to do it with crypto. And this is where it gets really interesting. This is where, the crux of everything, everything connects like a puzzle. So they are doing this. These liquidations are happening with leverage traders. Spot traders are suffering too. They're holding coins, they're waiting, their portfolios are down, they're getting impatient. And they're playing a two-pronged strategy. They want to frustrate the hodlers, and they want to liquidate the futures traders. The ones who bet on whichever price a certain crypto is going to be, and that's where they make a lot of money, leverage trading. So they're causing the leverage flush, and they're causing frustrations amongst hodlers. Okay, people that believe in their projects and coins. Now, at the same time, what you have to realize is every time they do this, they can do it very easily. They pump the market up a bit. People get greedy. They want to future trade. They don't want to be patient anymore. They don't want to have their conviction plays. Just like the previous markets, there were a lot of people that had conviction in what they were holding. Holding is the term. Okay, so those who are impatient are losing big time. Those who are holding on to their conviction plays are frustrated. But if they see beyond that, they see what's going on there, and if they really believe in what they're holding, they will win. 99% of the time, you win that way. So, just like they can remove 1 trillion in liquidations, they can add back multi-trillions. These guys have that money. They have the power. They are the problem and the solution. Unfortunately, that's the bad news. The good news is this thing is not going to be forever. So we're going to see some choppy market prices, some choppy action. People are going to think it's a bear market. And then in a few months, we are going to start reversing like crazy. Just like they can remove 1 trillion, they can add another 10 trillion. You understand? So they're going to keep doing this choppy price action until they've gotten their 35 trillion out. Take up the market up a bit, liquidate people, take it up a bit, liquidate people. These are for futures. Those who are futures trading. If you're not understanding the game, you're being left out. And of course, those who get impatient with what they're holding, they too are at a loss. So they're getting a double whammy. They're getting more and more money for themselves to remove that 35 trillion debt. And once that happens, AI, which is all linked to Web3, real world assets, tokenized real world assets, all of that is going to start going on fundamentally. So the question is, are you prepared to hold? Are you prepared to do your research? Are you prepared to delve into the right projects and right things? Or are you willing to walk out? That's the main question. If you're willing to walk out, all right, you go. After a few months, you're going to see things are going to change. And could be even sooner. Remember, like I told you, just like they can remove 1 trillion, they can add multi-trillions into the market. So this whole liquidation is happening to cut off the U.S. debt, 35 trillion debt. And they can easily do this. And futures traders are impatient, they're greedy, they have no sense of, the hodler mentality, none of that. So, and they're irrational. All that is a wonderful scheme for BlackRock and for the Trump family to really, really get in on the manipulation of getting to manipulate the markets. So this is the real game, guys. If you understand this, I promise you'll win. Now, what would I do during this time? If you're holding on to your conviction plays, do not lose your bag, because your bag is more valuable than the fiat. Yes, most people will not tell you that. They'll tell you to sell, they'll tell you to do this, do that. Why? Because at any point they can reverse. And that's what they want. They want people to sell. You have to understand, they don't want a lot of people to win. They want a lot of people to lose. And once they have paid off that debt, they will then create a market for the retail where The hodler mentality will come back. The altcoin cycle will come back the way it is. People are going to have euphoria, blah, 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 for as long as the Trump's term is there. It'll happen. I'm the only guy probably that's telling you this in this space, or at least one of the few. That's what's going to happen. As long as Trump is in power, they will milk it like crazy, and that's where your opportunity and your advantage lies. So if you have conviction plays, hold them. If you're generating revenue, if you have businesses, dollar cost average into your favorite coins, because as you know, the fear and greed index is showing extreme fear. So buy when others are fearful, and be patient. If you understand this game now, you will win. And we're doing all the research for you. We're giving you all the updates of the market. We're doing all the research. We're finding altcoin gems, all of that. Join Crypto Ronins now, guys, because it's times like these you want to get in on the good projects, fundamentally strong good projects. So I hope this gives you some perspective. Don't panic, relax, chill, and we'll be fine. All right, guys. And if you're traders, yeah, sure, be very careful. But if you're not a trader, which a lot of people aren't, you gotta be patient. Patience wins. Remember that. Take care, guys. Have a good one. Join Crypto Ronins now.